Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's your girl, Lady Q, and I wanted to take this time to welcome you to She Spoke. We are on our third episode of She Spoke, and it's not like your regular episode. So they're done by years. So the first year we did She Spoke, it was called My God and I. And the second year we did She Spoke, it was called Deliverance. And this year she spoke is called Breakthrough. So it's episode 3 of She Spoke. And so the question that I've been getting lately is, what is She Spoke? She Spoke is about taking the arts to do ministry. And so this is an outside of the box, not your ordinary type of event. And it's to go into the community to reach those that are in the community, those that won't step foot in the church, those that enjoy the arts, right? So we have so many people that are in the arts, that enjoy the arts, but feel like, where do I go? And there are so many that want to go somewhere where they can see the arts, but yet and still they don't want to find themselves in a compromising environment, compromising position, or struggling with the things that their body is internalizing by what they're seeing and what they're hearing. So, what God has done is He gave Milton McCulloch the vision for She Spoke. And the idea of that is taking the arts for women to speak, to give their testimony, to share what it is that God has inside of them to share. So, with that being said, we have Lizette, and we call her Liz, right? So we know her by Liz. And so Liz is going to come and share her testimony in dance. She's going to use rhythmic movements to share what God has given her, the gift that God has given her to dance, to minister to God. And this is her experience. This is her worship. This is her one-on-one with God that we have the opportunity to see. So a lot of times what we don't realize is that in the arts, whatever it is that that person is experiencing and what they present to you, we get a chance to have a front row seat in the very thing that God has given them to do. And so Liz is going to do it through the dance. Then we have our very own Allison, which is going to do this monologue. And the monologue that she is going to do, you're going to get an opportunity to be front row of her having a conversation with God and just being present in that moment with her, that she's going to walk you through her journey. And then she's going to present also a song or songs to the audience of her testimony. Then we move on where I am the featured voice for She Spoke. And so this is where you're going to experience my testimony through poetry, through art, through every possible ounce of creativity that the Lord has spoken in me to do for this year. She Spoke. So you're going to see many facets of creativity for She Spoke episode 3 Breakthrough. Now, a lot of us go through things in life where we need a breakthrough. And even once we come to Christ, there are times that we experience in this walk and in our life multiple breakthroughs. We can get to a moment in our walk with Christ that it's heavy. The call that He's placed on us can become heavy, or the situation that we're going through can be so heavy that in that moment, like you're just saying, Lord, I need a breakthrough. I need you to give me a way out. I need you to give me visual clarity in what's happening. And so what I've been seeing lately is that um, I am looking at women that are birthing some things and how God is using the birthing process to show us how to go through the process of a breakthrough. And so when we look at a woman and what a woman goes through her pregnancy and carrying this baby, women carry babies for 9 months unless that child is born prematurely, right? And so in this 9 month process, she is going to go through cravings. She is going to go through an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes her emotions is going to get the best of her and she's going to break down and she's going to cry and she may not know what she wants in that moment, or she may desire to do something, get to that point, and when she get there it's not really what she wanted. And so she's going to go through this emotion, and then there's a moment that even in pregnancy we go through the fear if we don't feel the baby move so many times, and then we have these concerns about this baby that God is shaping and molding and maturing within the womb. And then the baby is also surrounded by a bag of waters, that when the woman gets to a certain point in her pregnancy, when she reaches the third trimester, the baby drops. And what happens when the baby drops? The baby is getting into position to be birthed. So the baby's head becomes downward. She or he is getting into position to come through the birth canal. But before that child can come through the birth canal, there has to be a breaking of the waters. The waters have to break. And when the waters break, and and then the process that happens when the breaking of waters, then the baby can then descend into the birth canal, break through and crown through the cervix, and come out on the other side. Now, when I process the whole birthing process and the baby coming through the birth canal and the breaking of the waters and the baby being matured, the lungs being ready, the mind being ready, the Lord is sculpting this child for this process. And then to go through the entire process and the amount of pain, because science says that when a woman gives birth, the amount of pain that she has to go through and what the body has to go through is coming as close to death as anyone can come to death and not dying. This is the beauty and how God has created a woman's body, that then you have this baby and the amount of overwhelming joy, because there's the anticipation, but then there's an overwhelming amount of joy that comes that when this baby comes, right? And so with that being said, that when you lock eyes with your child, you forget about the pain. The pain goes out the window, because now you are now face to face with the very thing that the Lord has given you. And so this is what we call the natural birthing process. And so for some women, like myself, I had all three of my children with having a C-section. And so for me, they had to cut through layers when it came time for me to have my children. I went through the process. The baby dropped, the baby got into position. He snuggled his way in and readying himself to come through the birth canal. And then the bag of waters broke, but he wasn't coming out. So then I had to go through another process of being shifted from one room into another room, and then placing me on the table, and I'm going through the birthing pains. Then I had to be cut. Layers had to be cut. And then my children had to go in and reach for them, pulling them through. And so some women go through the natural birthing process where the baby comes through the birth canal. Some women go through the process where they have to go through a cutting. And then in the process of that cutting, there's a healing process in which they have to go through. And the healing process requires strategic movement. The healing process requires some rest. The healing process. So even though you're experiencing the greatest amount of joy that you can experience when you lock eyes with your baby, you now have to go through a healing process that takes much longer while you're experiencing joy. And so I say all of that to say, you're probably trying to figure out, what does this have to do with breakthrough? And what does this have to do with She Spoke? I'm saying all that to say that even in our walk with Christ, we go through different levels where we will experience a breakthrough. And so the first She Spoke, My God and I, that was about being with God. That was about the wilderness experience. That was about, Lord, is the only thing I can do is trust you through the process. I don't have nowhere else to look to. I don't have no friends, and I don't have no one to lean on. I done picked up the phone and I done called people and they wasn't there. That was the first episode. My God and I, knowing what it was to walk with God, coming into the wilderness experience, sitting in all of my issues, sitting in all of my mess, that then I come into the second episode as She Spoke, which is deliverance. That means that God was delivering me out of the wilderness, delivering me out of the desert, because there were times that I felt like I was sitting in a desert and I was looking for sustenance. I was looking for shade. I was looking to be covered. I was looking for help, and it felt like I couldn't find the help. And so God says, I'm going to now deliver you out of your desert experience. And so I went through the process where God then began to deliver me out of my wilderness and deliver me out of my desert experience, deliver me out of the thoughts that was going on inside of my head and the things that were plaguing me and the weight that I was dealing with in my life. There was a deliverance. And then now, and this is the thing, that last year when he gave me the word deliverance, he also gave me breakthrough. He had already given me the word a whole year in advance for what was to come, letting me know that throughout the year, I needed to walk in and through my breakthrough before I even got to the breakthrough. That meant I had to live a life of breakthrough, even though it hadn't yet came. So just like a woman who gets pregnant and the baby is being formed, you're already preparing for what is to come before it gets there. When we carry these children, we're buying the clothes, we're setting the room, we're looking for the colors. We want to know the gender so that when we know the gender, we can prepare the right type of clothes and prepare all the things. We're preparing for the journey that is ahead. We're preparing for the victorious moment. I know I got to go through some pain while I'm in a process, but I'm preparing for the victory. I'm preparing to lock eyes with the beauty and the wonder of God. I'm preparing for the miracle that God is going to place in my hand. I don't know what this child is going to look like on the other side, but I'm so excited for how beautiful this baby is going to be before it gets there. It doesn't matter if it's going to go through the birth canal in its natural process, or it doesn't matter if I got to be cut in order for the baby to come out. And so with the process of the breakthrough, I got to prepare for the journey. I have to prepare for the purpose. I got to prepare for what's ahead of me right now for what is to come. Therefore, I got to already walk in it as though it's already here before it gets here, that when it gets here, that I can then lock eyes with the beauty and the wonder of what God has created and what God has done. I may not see in the darkness what God is shaping and molding and maturing for the process. And so with that being said, She Spoke episode 3 breakthrough means that there is a journey in which we have to go through, and God will give us what we need, and He will do the shaping and the molding, and He's maturing us before we get there. But we got to know that there's already a breakthrough coming before we get to the breakthrough. We got to know that victory is already there waiting on us before we already get there. We know that there's a mountaintop before we get to the top of the mountain, because we find ourselves at the base of the mountain, and God is saying, I'm preparing you to climb the mountain. I'm giving you all the tools that you need to get to the top. And so, just as a baby being birthed, the bag of waters have to be broken. And so, when God begins the breaking, because see, it surrounds the very thing that's being birthed. So God is going to allow things around us to become broken. There has to be a separation that He's going to bring us through in order that we get to the very birthing process, the breakthrough. Before that child breaks through, there's a breaking of the waters that they has to go through. And so then there's this thing that's being birthed. And so understand that we got to go through a breaking process. There's some things that has to be broken. There's things that has been surrounding that has to come off. There's some things that's been surrounding that has to open up. There's some things that's being surrounded that has to part. Just like the Hebrew children, when they found themselves standing at the Red Sea, and God began to part the waters. They had to walk through the parting of the waters to get through victory. They was making it through their breakthrough. They knew and they trusted a God that in all the whole time that they was going through this slavery, and they're praying and they're trusting God, that God brings them to the Red Sea, that He begins a breaking by parting the waters and them going through the canal of these waters being parted, that they get to the other side being victorious, understanding that when I think about the parting of the waters and that it's a canal, it's just like a baby going through the birth canal after the bag of waters is being broken. God done parted it. And so now here we stand in victory, we stand in the breakthrough. I done brought you out on the other side. And so I encourage you that if you're going through something, that even in your walk with Christ, He's going to give you another breakthrough. But you have to go through the process and the shaping and the molding and the maturing that He's doing in your life right now, so that you can get through the other side, that you can get through the breakthrough, because everything that He's doing is to prepare you to live. Everything that a child does in utero that child is being prepared, that that child may be able to live when the child comes through the process. That every time that the contractions happen, that this child is being squeezed, but as the child is being squeezed with every contraction, there's a push that's happening at the same time. So the uterus is squeezing the child. It's making the environment tight. So as it's making the environment tight, that as women, we have to bear down. And when we bear down and we begin to push the child out, so the child is being squeezed, the space is being confined. And as the space is being confined, then the child is being pushed. Oftentimes, you are finding yourself in a place where your space is being confined and then you're being pushed. Your space is being confined and then you're being pushed. Your space is being confined and then you're being pushed. And some of us have to be like those that have to go through the process of the C-section. I'm sitting here and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting to come out. And where I think that I need to go out of, God says, I am going to reach down and I'm going to pull you out. Some of us have to be put in a confined space and we have to be pushed out, while others have to sit in waiting while we're being squeezed, while we're being processed, and every squeeze that's getting tighter. And so, in the process of you being squeezed, then there comes a cutting, that then there will come a hand that's going to reach down and pull you out. So, some of us have to be pushed out while others have to be pulled out. It is the breakthrough process in which we are going through. And so when God begins to speak to you and to speak to your process and to speak to the purpose of what he placed inside of you, he's doing something new. He's doing something amazing. He's creating a masterpiece that as he begins to shape and mold you, he's creating such a masterpiece of what you are and who you are in him, that you're going to be squeezed and pushed out into perfection, that you're going to be squeezed and pulled out through perfection, understanding what God is doing through the process of your breakthrough. And so I want to encourage you to continue to hold on, to not let go. I want to encourage you that it's okay to be in a tight place. It's okay to be in a dark space. It's okay for the squeezing that's happening in your life. It's okay that the space is getting tight, that you can barely move. It's okay because as their space is getting tight and you can barely move, you're being pushed through some things. You're being pushed through into your breakthrough. You're being pushed through into your victory. You're being pushed through into your elevation. You're being pushed through into the next level of your birthing process. You're being squeezed and your space is getting tightened because the hand is getting ready to reach down and pull you out. In your dark space, the hand is reaching down to pull you out. That even though you find yourself by yourself, the hand is going to reach down and pull you out. Your space is becoming confined, and the hand is going to reach down and pull you out. Either way, you're coming out and you're going to get your breakthrough. The hand is going to come out, come down and pull you through your breakthrough. So you either being pushed through your breakthrough or you're being pulled through your breakthrough. You got to know where you stand in the process of the birthing and the breakthrough that God has for you. And so I want to encourage you to hold on to Jesus. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And so right now you're going through a process that if you believe in the God that died on the cross, you believe in Jesus that got up on a cross for you, you believe in a God that wrapped himself in flesh, that came into this world that you might have life and have it more abundantly. If you believe in him, then therefore you're going to be pushed through your breakthrough. If you believe in him, you're going to be pulled out into your breakthrough, understanding who the Lord is in your life and what he's doing. And so I encourage you that in the process, allow the Lord to bring you through and pull you out. He's going to bring you through and he's going to pull you out into your breakthrough. And so, with that being said, I want to take this time in this moment to invite you to understanding what it is to walk through your breakthrough through spoken word, the sermonic poems that's going to come forward to bless you, that's going to help you even walk into and through and out of your breakthrough. The dance that you will see that's going to help you through and come out of your breakthrough. The monologue and the voices of singing that's going to bring you through and out of into your breakthrough. So I encourage you to join us August the 24th at 5 p.m. at 3 Mask. That again is 3 Mask. The address is 1023 West Colonial Drive, Orlando, Florida. 1023 West Colonial Drive, Orlando, Florida, August the 24th. Join us for She Spoke episode 3, where the Lord will do a new thing. We're bringing ministry into the community. We're bringing ministry into the uncommon places, in the uncommon spaces where you will be blessed by these women that is going to give their testimony, where the Lord has given them a voice The Lord has given them rhythm. The Lord has given them a song. The Lord has given them art. The Lord has given them creativity. So, through that which God has created, creativity flows through and out of them, that you may be blessed. And we want you to come and join us in an uncommon place, in an uncommon space, which is Three Masks, 1023 West Colonial Drive, Orlando, Florida, August the 24th. Admission is only $15. This is something you do not want to miss. And even if you can't show up, we are also asking for donations that we can help those other individuals that need help. And so you can send a donation at 614 312 1820. Again, the number is 614 312 1820. The information will be attached. We will attach the flyer to this. If you want to be a sponsor, you can reach out and you can reach us on Facebook and Instagram. You can inbox me. I am Lady Q. I would love to see you there at She Spoke episode 3 breakthrough. Again, the date is August the 24th at 5 p.m. at 3 Mass 1023 West Colonial Drive, Orlando, Florida. I am so excited. Please subscribe, share, like, send this to other individuals, even if only for the message to help someone, even in the message itself, not just showing up for the event, because it's not just an event. It is not just a one time thing. Even if what you share this for is that someone needed this message because they're going through something and they need a breakthrough. They're going through something and they're trying to press, and they may just be at their wits' end ready to give up. And so I'm praying that if you or whoever under the sound of my voice need a breakthrough right now, that the Lord give you the very thing that you desire, but you got to hold on to him. You have to walk in obedience. You got to be the very thing that he has called you to be in order to get through your breakthrough. He's already equipped you with everything that you need. And so with that being said, I pray that the Lord brings you out, that he pulls you out, pushes you through into your breakthrough. May you be blessed. May you be blessed. May you be blessed abundantly. And until next time, you have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, and a good day. It's your girl, Lady Q.